what an exciting finish in Kentucky at the PGA Championship, right down to the last shot of the last hole. We will recap that. Also, Mike Mazzio will join us for the latest on sports wagering, and also this very intriguing story about a former member of the Los Angeles Angels now involved in a potential sports betting scandal as well. Also, Matt Latovsky joins us for the latest in Major League Baseball going on this afternoon and this evening. But we begin with the recap from last night, and we will have a new NBA champion for the 6th time in 6 years. Yes, they did it. The Minnesota Timberwolves went to Denver and won. They were down 20. It didn't matter. Minnesota wins 98-90. The Nuggets will not repeat. Of course, they cover this spread in the money line. I mean, when you think about it, sort of an embarrassing performance from Denver, up 20, and they only get good performances from Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. Everybody else silent in the second half of the game. And so now Minnesota, yes, that's right, the Timberwolves. Remember them from many, many years ago playing well? I don't. A lot of you don't. But they're there. They got a shot now to get to the NBA Finals. And their head coach Chris Finch talked about what it took to pull out the series.
I mean, the effort was there. You know, we just had to – our offense kind of went sideways in the first half. And they really upped their defense. They were very physical. And we just talked about, you know, kind of getting back to simplifying our offense, if you will. I thought we were trying to over-orchestrate matchups and mismatches and all this other stuff, and kind of played right into their hands. So we just had to get back to kind of moving the ball. We didn't shoot the ball particularly well, typical Game 7 in that regard. But, you know, even when we were, you know, down, like I kept looking at the field goal percentage, and we were in the 40s, in the 30s. Our defense was there. And then it went to a special place in the third quarter, you know, where we've been able to take it at times. And, you know, just everybody just kind of, you know, bucking up and making plays and executing the game plan. So, you know.
Minnesota, great job by them over the course of the regular season. It pays to play in the regular season, as the Timberwolves definitely found out. Well, meanwhile, not as much drama going into Game 7 between the Pacers and Knicks, as the Knicks were just thoroughly outshot and outplayed. The final 130. That's right, 130 to 109. Indiana, 67% from the field, which is the highest field goal percentage from any game in the history of the playoffs. That is incredible. And, you know, I mean, look, Indiana played this kind of basketball all season long. We didn't see it a lot in the playoffs, but they definitely came through. And wouldn't you know, the Pacers now with an opportunity to beat the Boston Celtics, who are the heavy favorite, by the way, now to win the NBA Finals. But it was an incredible series also for the Knicks. Incredible season for Jalen Brunson, who was hurt again in this game, unfortunately. He'll be fine for the regular season, but also got hurt once again. Brunson talked about the head coach and certainly everything that was delivered with the Knicks in this series.
I think Tibbs has the same mindset we do as a team. Tibbs is the reason why we have that mindset. Tibbs is the reason why we, night in and night out, we fight to the best of our abilities. And even though things may not be in our favor result-wise, he makes sure that we have that mindset night in and night out. And so I think he's evolved by just not – I mean, he sees everything that everyone says. So, but I think when it comes to us, we don't really care what the people on the outside think of us. We don't care what people say, positive or negative. We go forward with what we believe is the best course of action inside this building, inside the organization. And so I think the way that he has evolved is that his players in that locker room have his back no matter what.
And you would assume that Thibodeau would be back as Knicks head coach, although the NBA is insane. They fire coaches for winning championships these days, so what do I know? Xander Schauffele basically went wire to wire as the winner of the PGA Championship this year. And by the way, kudos to him for closing this thing out with a birdie on 18, because the pressure, if you don't think it was there, my gosh. I mean, Bryson DeChambeau was breathing down this guy's throat, warming up, getting ready for a playoff, but Xander birdied 18, and he wins the PGA Championship. He needed every single shot to win and talked about what it took on that 18th hole.
I walked up, I saw a little left to right. I kept reading it. I kept kind of panning. It started to look right to left to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is not what I want for a winning putt. Fortunately, it was uphill. It was, 6 feet-ish. I ended up playing it straight. It did go left, caught the left side. Just so much relief. When it lipped in, I don't even really remember it lipping in. I just heard everyone roaring, and I just look up to the sky in relief.
Yeah, as exciting as it got, by the way, yesterday for any golf event, in case you didn't watch the end of it. All right, let's get to the Eastern Conference Finals. Kristaps Porzingis expected to miss some more time with the calf strain, so could not probably be back, I would say, until Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals, depending on how things go. Chris Paul, by the way, did an interview with Forbes, said he would like to be an owner in some way, maybe a WNBA owner. It's potentially there. We'll see what the future holds for Chris Paul. Detroit Pistons are looking for a new team president. Some candidates have emerged, according to Yahoo. Trajan Langdon, Scott Perry, Dennis Lindsay, John Hammond, some possibilities. We'll see what they end up doing ahead of the NBA draft. Also, Bronny James is doing very well at the NBA Combine. 40.5-inch vertical leap, 19 for 25 in the three-point shooting drill. He's in the ESPN Top 100 rankings, jumped up from about 100 to top 50. So the assumption is he'll be drafted. This will be the storyline in the NBA draft coming up soon. All right, Shohei Ohtani, his first walk-off win, no surprise with the Dodgers. He now leads the majors in WAR. He's a DH. That's incredible. Does not play the field and leads in WAR. David Fletcher, meanwhile, we're going to talk a lot about this in the coming weeks. A former player with the Angels who's now pitching in the Braves minor league system as a knuckleballer, allegedly caught betting on baseball. Well, we'll see what this really means. Because indeed, if this is the case, it would be a lifetime ban for Fletcher. And the story goes is allegedly he was using the same bookmaker that Shohei Ohtani's interpreter was. So we'll see what happens with this story as we move on. My guess is we'll learn a lot more this week. Shota Imanaga for the Chicago Cubs sets a Major League Baseball record. His earned run average after the weekend, .84. That's the lowest ERA for a pitcher 9 starts in Major League history. He's currently the heavy favorite to win the Rookie of the Year, and he's also in the Cy Young conversation. So could we have a Rookie of the Year and Cy Young? We will see. Also a doubleheader coming up today with the Padres and Braves. They will play 2 games coming up at 12:20. That is the first game of the 2. New York has set a weekly mobile sports betting revenue record for the week ending May 12th. New York pulls in $70.9 million in revenue. That's the all-time record for New York in a week. How about that? I guess the Knicks and Rangers had something to do with that. Maybe so. The National Football League is looking at a potential idea for ownership changes, which would allow institutional wealth, including some of these private equity funds, to invest in NFL franchises. They've never permitted this before, but certainly this is going to open up a lot of doors potentially, not only here in the United States, but outside as well. I'm sure they're looking at Live Golf and some of these other potential investors, maybe to make some more money buying teams in the National Football League. The Canucks and Oilers will play Game 7 tonight. Edmonton hosts Vancouver. Winner advances to the Western Conference Finals, where the Dallas Stars they await. And also, how about a couple of MMA legends making this announcement over the weekend? They're going to box. Chael Sonnen and Anderson Silva on June 15th in Brazil. These guys dominated the UFC scene, and now they're headed over to boxing to see if they can earn a few bucks and get people to watch and stream. I won't be one of them, but maybe you are.